They do this every election cycle. Try to terrify folks. They're telling you the existential threat to America is a bunch of poor refugees 1,000 miles away. If you don't like what's going on right now, don't just complain. Don't get anxious and freaked out. Don't throw up your hands in despair. Don't boo. Don't hashtag. Vote.
President Obama there rallying voters in Florida yesterday as he and President Trump make their final pitches ahead of Election Day. Let's bring in MSNBC political analyst Zerlina Maxwell, director of progressive programming for SiriusXM. She previously worked on Hillary Clinton's campaign. Former GOP House Committee Counsel Sophia Nelson, an NBC Think contributor and the author of E Pluribus One, Reclaiming Our Founders' Vision for a United America. And Bob Cusack, editor-in-chief for The Hill. With a welcome to all three of you. Bob, I'm going to start with you here on the president's use of fear-mongering. Why is Trump so convinced that this is the best way to win over undecided voters? And what do you think the reality is?
Well, I think electorally and campaign-wise, what Trump is doing is working on the Republican side. Immigration gets his base fired up. Midterms are all about the base, and certainly, and I think it's good for Democrats to have Obama counter that, because Trump has been holding so many rallies that you have this Obama versus Trump dynamic, and I think you're going to see turnout be quite high on both sides. Remember, the last midterm, 2014, lowest turnout in 70 years. This is going to be a totally different story.
Well, if early voting and absentee balloting is any indication there, you are 100% right. Sophia, Politico has an article that's headlined, Trump's immigration obsession could backfire, some Republicans fear. And conservative blogger and radio host Eric Erickson wrote, you're playing at the margins with Republicans on the issue of immigration, but there are very many more Democrats that might be mobilized by President Trump's rhetoric. How concerned are you about that?
Well, I live in Virginia 10. Barbara Comstock is my congresswoman. She's in trouble. And part of the problem is for moderate centrists, moderates like Barbara Comstock. Some would say she's conservative. I think she's a centrist. It's hard for someone like her to combat Corey Stewart at the top of the ticket, who's a white nationalist. Let's just call it what it is. And then you've got Donald Trump saying he's a nationalist and bashing this whole issue of immigration, the caravan, folks saying that he's going to have kids shot at if they throw rocks, consider it a rifle, etc. That kind of stuff does not play well in districts like mine, where you have upper middle class white women, moderate Republican women, independent voters who will go the other way because they don't like Trump's nasty, negative rhetoric. They just don't like it.
What about Democrats, Zerlina? Are they doing enough to counter the president's message? Could Democrats be underestimating how persuasive his strategy may be?
Well, I don't think Democrats post-2016 are underestimating anything. I don't think they're taking anything for granted, and that's why you see that their messaging has been focused on the districts that they're running in, talking about health care, and also, yes, talking about his divisive rhetoric, and I would say really racist rhetoric. But I think at this moment, Alex, when we're sitting here in the middle of early voting, just hours away from the actual general election day, Democrats don't need to worry about their message. They need to worry about turning out their voters. And 26% of eligible voters voted for Donald Trump in 2016. As you know, that is a very small portion of the entire electorate. More than half of the country did not vote at all. And so if we can change that fact, Alex, Democrats will have a good and strong showing on Election Day if we're able to turn out the base voters that do agree that we need to protect health care, Medicare and Medicaid, and Social Security, and also push back against the racist rhetoric that we see day in and day out coming from the White House.
And you know, Sophia, the president tweeted the anti-immigrant campaign ad this week, and it was widely condemned by Democrats, but also criticized by some Republicans. Why can't Republicans agree on what goes too far?
You know, Alex, I've never seen anything like this. You just had Andy Card on a segment before. The Republicans of George Herbert Walker Bush and Ronald Reagan and Eisenhower and Ford, et cetera, those people are gone. That's over. And so I don't understand this new Republican movement. I'm a lifelong moderate Republican. I'm appalled by this. I don't have an answer for you. I wish I did. But the president has taken the gloves off, Alex. He's real clear about how he feels, and he's unabashed about it. It's no dog whistles. It's no coded talk. When you pin a tweet like that with that racist ad, that despicable ad, you've told us all where you are, and he means it.
Yeah. You know, to Zerlina's point, Bob, early voting numbers, they are already at 31.5 million. That eclipsed those seen in 2014 by more than 10 million. So how is that being interpreted?
Well, I think that's good news for Democrats. The more people that vote, that's good news for Democrats. And that's why in 2014, Republicans did quite well. Now, remember, though, Democrats have not shown up for a midterm since 2006. That year, they won the House and the Senate. And I think a blue wave is likely to wash away the Republican majority in the House. But then I think you could see a bit of a red ripple in the Senate, where Republicans hold the Senate, but maybe grow their majority slightly, because the map for the Senate is very Republican friendly. The House is a totally different story. Barbara Comstock, Sophia mentioned, I mean, she's very likely to lose right now, because that is not a district that likes Trump, but and so she's had to toe this delicate line. A lot of Republicans are in that position.
Real quickly, Zerlina, any concerns about complacency given these early voting numbers?
Not after 2016, Alex. I think everybody who watched 2016 and had some sort of thought about their vote not mattering, that is not a thought people are having today. I think everybody realizes what's at stake in terms of making sure they go and cast their ballots. But even more importantly, Alex, seeing the level of activism and engagement in terms of people volunteering, phone banking, text banking, going out and trying to get the vote out, in addition to just casting their own single ballot. That is what I've been watching, not just since the inauguration of Donald Trump. We saw the Women's March, and a lot of folks on that day asked me, will this matter? What will come of this? And we've seen that. Women are running for office. They're organizing their communities. Those suburban moms are getting their girlfriends together. They're text banking, and they're trying to remake this country in I think, a more compassionate and empathetic way to push back against what we've been seeing for the past 2 years in the White House.
Zerlina Maxwell, Sophia Nelson, Bob Kuzak, good to see all three of you. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Alex.